Alrighty, let's get this straight. Paul Pelosi gets out of jail from his DUI just in time to buy 20,000 shares of stock in a computer chip company. And now Fancy Nancy is bringing a $52 billion subsidy bill for these chip companies to the House floor. Shady, shady, shady. A few weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi sold off millions in Google stock. And then yesterday, the DOJ sues Google. Coincidence? I don't think so. The Pelosis are totally corrupt, but not a single major outlet has written about this transaction. America fired Pelosi as Speaker, but she's still using her congressional seat to get rich. Shame on her.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information he's received from you?
What are you saying?
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information you've received from you?
No, absolutely not. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, welcome back. Recently, I came across a bombshell of information I don't know if you have seen. It is extremely bad to be a lawmaker and you are doing insider trading. The Justice Department sued Google. A month before this, Paul Pelosi dumped about 30,000 shares. This is to tell you something is happening. So on this clip, we are going to take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that. And if possible, why not share this clip?
And you're a senator, and I give you IPO shares in stock, and over the course of one day, that stock nets you $100,000. That's completely legal.
And former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her husband had participated in at least 8 IPOs. One of those came in 2008 from Visa, just as a troublesome piece of legislation that would have hurt credit card companies began making its way through the House. Undisturbed by a potential conflict of interest, the Pelosis purchased 5,000 shares of Visa at the initial price of $44. 2 days later, it was trading at $64. The credit card legislation never made it to the floor of the House. Congresswoman Pelosi also declined our request for an interview, but agreed to call on us if we attended her news conference.
Madam Leader, I wanted to ask you why you and your husband, back in March of 2008, accepted and participated in a very large IPO deal from Visa. At a time there was major legislation affecting the credit card companies making its way through the House. And did you consider that to be a conflict of interest?
I don't know what your point is of your question. Is there some point that you want to make with that?
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's all right for a speaker to accept a very preferential and favorable stock deal?
Well, we didn't.
You participated in the IPO.
Well, I have many
and at the time you were
investments, but I
Speaker
don't
of the House. You don't think it was a conflict of interest or had the appearance of a conflict of interest?
It only has the appearance if you decide that you're going to have elaborate on a false premise. But it's not true, and that's that.
I don't understand what part's not true.
Yes, I don't see this to be a coincidence. 1 month before this decision, Paul Pelosi decided to dump about 30,000 share stocks of Google. Now we are getting a story. Google has been sued for antitrust.
Nancy Pelosi reportedly, with her husband, sold $3 million actually worth of the stock just 4 weeks ago. So the next one that we can put up there on the screen, it actually shows you the exact trades that were disclosed in the periodic transaction report. You could see it right there. Several trades, all that just hit in the last weeks of December. And what do we see? We see trades between $500,000 to $1 million, all of Class A stock that were being made. And the real question is why? I mean, in many respects, like we're talking here about people who literally run the government in the know, representative here even from San Francisco. Let's even, Crystal, put aside the lawsuit. You represent a lot of people from Google. You should not be trading Google, period.
That is it. You represent a lot of people trading with Google at the same time you're doing the same. It is extremely wrong to do this. She knew that something like this was coming up She decided that they should sell everything. Lawmakers have information the public don't know. So when they are doing insider trading, they easily succeed. While you as an outsider, you'll be struggling there while they keep making millions. Like we have seen recently, the amount of money Paul Pelosi is making. This is to tell you how some of these lawmakers operate. I just pray this bill should be passed so that these lawmakers should be held accountable for doing insider trading. Going down on this article, Paul Pelosi, the multimillionaire husband of former House Speaker and current Representative Nancy Pelosi, sold 30,000 shares of Google stock a month prior to the Department of Justice announcement of antitrust lawsuit against the tech giant, according to a financial disclosure filed with the House of Representatives. Pelosi reported the sales of Google stock in three different transactions between December 20 and December 28, each of which involved the sales of 10,000 shares of stock in Google parent corporation Alphabet. The periodic transaction report file with the House notes each transactions involve an amount between 500,000 and 1 million and yielded a capital gains of more than 200. Although it's unclear how large the profit was, taken together, the trade involved 30,000 shares and between 1.5 million and 3 million of assets. The DOJ and 8 states announced a lawsuit against Google on Tuesday, alleging that the company engaged in anti-competitive behavior and exercised a monopoly over internet search traffic. Google anti-competitive behavior has raised barriers to entry to artificial high levels, forced key competitors to abandon the market for ad tech tools, discouraged potential competitors from joining the market, and left Google few remaining competitors marginalized and fairly disadvantaged, the DOJ and the state allege.
As well, and they disclose and they show all kinds of trades. I mean, the fact that any of this is legal is insane. And I was talking with some people on the Hill, and they've even brought it up to their bosses. They're like, "Hey, like, what are you doing?" And the bosses are like, "Oh, what? Like and they were like, "No, dude." They're like, "Unless you can prove you're innocent, you're guilty." And I actually think that's the exact right way to approach a public politician, somebody with so much power, so much influence on the decision. Unless you can literally prove. And then, again, just to point to the fact that we're not even talking about ETFs. We're not talking about the Dow Jones or S&P 500. We're talking about direct stocks directly impacted by U.S. government decisions, of which